I'm Christian Mischlik. I'm the superintendent in the Louis Riel School Division, and the video you're about to watch captures a conversation with some of my colleagues and students in the Louis Riel School Division about what we mean when we say the words diversity, equity, and inclusion.
There's something that we call positionality. What positionality means is we use the space that we're in, we recognizes the privileges and the power that we do have, and we take advantage of it to create space for others. When we use our position, we can amplify voices that are often unheard. This is the responsibility of students, it's the responsibility of community, but it's also the responsibility of every employee in the Louis Riel School Division. So when we work together, we'll achieve a better sense of equity and create more spaces of belonging here within our school division, working to realize the goals that we set in our multi-year strategic plan.
In LRSD, we strive to create an environment of inclusion and diversity in our library through having our resources reflect the communities that we serve. So I think it's really important for staff and students to kind of look around the space and see people on the covers that look like themselves, and to be able to pick up a book and go through the pages and connect to stories that way. There are a lot of books in recent years that have been written by and for people that have been, misrepresented and underrepresented in media and literature. And I've seen firsthand how excited a student can get when they see books that they can really relate to. So I think that's really important.
So here at Louis Riel School Division, we believe in creating classroom environments that support all learners at all levels. And I find that this leads to the development of teamwork, collaboration, flexibility in students and in the adults that work with the students. The focus is the child, how to make all children feel welcome in the classroom, regardless of background, needs, physical needs, cognitive needs. It doesn't matter. We all belong and we all have a place and we are all valued. We find ways to create opportunities within the classroom for all learners at all levels. And what I find that this does is it helps students, feel a sense of belonging, feel like they belong to a team, belong to a community, help them realize that they have strengths and skills that they can share with others. One of the things that I love the best about working with diverse groups is just watching the growth from everyone in the classroom. So a student may be in our class who has autism. They have strengths and they share it with their peers. They're a valued member in the class and not just in the school.
Tanse Pimoteo no ten nesqueo netisnahazun, Okama kawichi Pimoteo netisnahazun, Maskwani dotam, Wanero First Nations, Nidonji. In LRSD, the Indigenous education support teams work collaboratively with administrators, teachers, students, families, and communities to foster positive Indigenous educational programming that honors culture, language, and Indigenous worldviews as a way to support learning and student achievement, as well as to build capacity with educators. This multidimensional approach is consistent with LRSD's multi-year strategic plan, which focus on equity, diversity, addressing barriers, and enhancing connections with families and communities.
Iskula jijjiiruudhaaf iskuulli as aranay dilarme keessatti jijjiirama guddaan nuti goonu nama biyya adda addaarraa dhufee as naannawa keenya kana qubatee ijoolleen akka barnoota argachuuf barnoota kana keessatti biyya guddisuudhaaf ijoolleen akka barnoota isaanii tartiibaan argatan gargaarsa guddaa godhaa sitti inni warraas gargaara.
We as BIPOC arranged 4 different meetings to talk about anti-racism education to staff, and we prepared presentations to show what it's like to be a student at Dakota and in the Louis Riel School Division, and the best ways they can help us feel more comfortable. So we have regular meetings where we just reflect and share experiences and just talk about certain problems.
Some of the benefits of inclusion: strong inclusive practice challenges the traditional practices by making grade level curriculum available to all students, recognizing that similar goals can be met in different ways by all of the students, and it focuses on essential outcomes. So we don't keep increasing the gap in knowledge by not offering students the grade level curriculum. When teachers provide multiple entry points for concept learning, they give students opportunities to engage early and maintain engagement throughout. Inclusive practices presume competence of all students regardless of their learning needs. It makes the curriculum accessible and challenging at the same time. So we have approaching grade level outcomes, as well as we have lots of strategies developed in order to extend grade level outcomes so that we can go far beyond those essential outcomes. So the students are never done. We're never saying, I'm done, we're saying, what's next? Inclusive practices focus on what do my students need to understand rather than what do they need to do. So we're looking at process over product.
It's important to create a welcoming space for our gender diverse students, staff, and communities. It's the responsibility of everybody who comes to our schools, the staff, the students, the community, all to make this a place where everybody feels welcome. We want a community that really shows that diversity is the norm. We want to be able to have our gender diverse students to be able to come into our schools and have the experience where they can be themselves, that they can really be and show their individuality, that they can really be able to focus on their studies and be able to flourish.
I am a mother of 6, but I'm also raising 5 grandchildren right now. I come from the reserve, so it's kind of different I have a different background growing up. So coming into the city, it was a big change for my grandkids, my kids, and myself. And I find that since I've been coming to the schools, I've been, I get along with, it's nice to get along with people that are around you. You get to meet different kinds of people, different races, and it's really, really important for my grandkids learning that, because I don't want them to single out people. I want them to be as a whole, as one person. We are one person, we are one people. Just different backgrounds, different colors, but we're still one person, like we're still equal in all ways.
One important part of my job is teaching others and giving them the understanding, and that LRSD is a school division that provides access for all, and inclusion and diversity is supported here in many ways. One type of access that's truly important in my role is access to communication, and that can look different for every student. And one way that I support students in LRSD is giving them the communication tools they need to become an active participant in their classroom. Inclusion and equity is so important for our students who are non-speaking or have difficulty communicating their wants and needs or communicating socially with others in their classroom. We found it to be really successful when clinicians such as myself, speech language pathologists, have been able to join classrooms and teach students about access to communication and how everyone communicates differently, but in their own unique and powerful way. We've had the opportunity to provide trainings in classrooms where there are students who are non-speaking or minimally speaking who use a communication device. I've had the opportunity to go into these classrooms and provide all students with a communication device that they can explore, just like the one that their peer uses. It's really provided an amazing opportunity for students in LRSD to learn about how their peers communicate using a communication device. That it's a powerful tool, but that it may take some time to use and that they need to be patient communicators. It's really opened their understanding of the skills that their peers have, that even though they may not be able to speak the same way that they do, they often still have a great understanding and a need for that connection in the classroom. After providing these peer communication device trainings, I've had many students come up to me and share how excited they were to know that they could now communicate and talk with that friend in their class who's non-speaking, because they understand a lot more about their communication needs and their communication device. Teachers have really explored the ways that, together with clinicians and other school team members, they can adapt curriculum to meet the needs of our students who communicate in a diverse way. We can look together at the symbols and words that student has on their communication device and allow the teacher to gain a greater understanding of how these words can fit into the classroom curriculum.
Everyone has the human right to develop their capacities and to participate fully in society. Policy ACH Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, which had first reading on December 21st, takes into consideration the entirety of the schooling process, including governance, teaching and learning, family and community engagement, staff services with a focus on workforce diversity, accessibility and universal access, diverse schools and learning opportunities, and additional needs and clinical services.
When I think about using my power and privilege to support Louis Riel School Division's work in the area of equity and inclusion, that looks like bringing up conversations that might be uncomfortable. It looks like advocating for members of the community who might not feel as though they have voice around the table. And it looks like having conversations to help us think through how we might create better, more inclusive spaces within our school.
I want to be able to help support staff to be able to use and recognize students by using their preferred names and pronouns.
I want to use my position to promote diversity through different avenues, like having an online presence and seeing people face to face and forming different connections that way. I just want to continue to be a support for people and be accessible. And I also want to continue to educate myself when I can about things that are going on in the world and be an activist for equity and inclusivity. And I can only hope that my efforts can reach other people, and that whoever they reach, they can, pay it forward.
I am committed to engaging all members of our community in authentic dialogue, to listen to what their priorities are for their families, and to walk alongside them as we work together to break down barriers and create change.